All right, we understand it's a very tense situation in Diepsloot tonight. Police Minister Bheki Cele visited the community and promised more police to that area earlier. The community has been up in arms over a high crime rate, talking about murders, about many crimes that have not been dealt with, and they demanded more police visibility and better resources. So that has been promised on the ground earlier. We saw the police minister arrive, as well as the MEC in Gauteng, the Premier, and then, of course, also the leader of Operation Dudula, Mbalenthle Mthethwa, also reportedly in the area, raising concern about foreign immigrants. And we've heard of clashes even tonight following the arrival of the police minister. Let's go back to that area. Our reporter Mbalenthle Mthethwa is there. Mbali, what can you see right now, and do we know if those officials are still on the ground tonight?
Good evening, Francis. Yes, indeed, you're absolutely right. The situation on the ground, even though it seems calm, is somewhat tense, given the fact that after the protest, you would have seen at the arrival of Operation Dudula leader Mbalenthle Mthethwa, there was a group of people that came down in a protest-like style up the road that we are standing on, really going all the way to the place where police minister, together with cabinet officials, were headed. This is where it's believed that the bodies of those who died over the weekend or who were murdered over the weekend were discovered. The police minister had vowed during a media briefing or report back to community members that he would be making his way there. We saw these community members forming a huge crowd, synonymous with what you would have seen in, say, I hope this is okay to say, but synonymous with what you would have seen, say, during the ANC or the IFP rallies or so on, at political party rallies walking up the road. Those were the type of crowds that were walking up the road, which made their way here. As the ministers and the MEC were leaving, you saw the crowd also just getting restless, but it's believed that they then started throwing stones, and there were concerns that there might be an Operation Dudula-like operation through the night, and that is why the situation here is somewhat tense. So earlier we saw police having to disperse that crowd using stun grenades as well as tear gas in order to disperse it. But right now, even though the situation might seem calmer, there are concerns that there might be, even despite promises from the Minister of Police, that they would be then coming back with Home Affairs Minister to ensure that, they carry out an operation within the confines of the law, and they are able to then to confirm the status of a particular individual within the country with Home Affairs records. On Friday, it seems as though people might actually just take this matter into their own hands and start going about checking the status of people within residence. I'm actually not alone here. We've just been joined by one of the councillors in the area. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself and just to give us a sense of, what his thoughts are following the clashes that we saw here. Please introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Abraham Mabuke. I'm the ward councillor responsible for Diepsloot, Ward 113.
Okay. Now, obviously, the unfortunate incidents that took place on this road are the reasons that led to people going all the way up and staging that protest outside the police station, calling for better police visibility and so on, and later having to be dispersed. What are your thoughts on today's event and tonight? What is going to happen? Because, as you've heard, the situation is somewhat tense.
Now, as the leadership of this community, we went inside the police station and held a meeting with the minister, the premier, and the national commissioner. And there were commitments made by the minister of deploying more subs and more vehicles in this area, and also promising to come back on Friday. And to us as the leadership, we are happy with that. But it seems like when the minister addressed our community members outside and mentioning all those promises, members of our community were not expecting that. They were expecting that the minister outside the police station will have to accompany, take all members of the SABC and together with the members of the community and go door to door and taking out all those illegal foreigners out of their shacks and take them to Lindela and then take them back to where they come from.
Okay, so this would be part of the reason that motivated that huge crowd that came here. They were hoping to undergo or carry out an operation where undocumented migrants would be sieved out of the community and deported.
That was the expectation indeed.
Okay, and what are your thoughts, about what happened after that? You know, because we understand that the crowds had to be dispersed.
No, the minister left the area and together with the Premier and the National Commissioner left the area. Of course, after they have addressed, everybody must go home. And police has the responsibility to maintain law and order. And they have to request people to disperse, of which it becomes difficult because what the minister said and the expectation from members of the community are two different things. That's why they have insisted when police instructed them to leave, and that resulted in what you have seen. Now they have dispersed. They went inside the informal settlement. We just received the information that they are in groups in various areas and trying to block and whatsoever. The situation has come here where we are, but inside it still stands.
And what are you doing in order to ensure that, you know, the situation doesn't escalate or get out of control in those hotspots that you have just mentioned to us?
We are in the process of going around and check where the people are and also check who are the leaders there so that we try to engage and wait indeed for the minister to arrive on Friday so that we have a proper way forward, going forward.
Thank you so much. There you have it. One of the ANC councillors in the areas just explained to us that they are, the situation is still tense and there are some hot spots where people are camping, hoping that they'll be able to go in and check the status of migrants or undocumented migrants within the community and also try to get them deported out of the country. But as you heard, they will be going around and just trying to identify those leaders to ascertain who is behind all of this, and they want to wait for Friday when the minister does then return as promised to try and verify the status of some of the residents who stay here. You will remember that just a little bit earlier on in a conversation with the MEC for Community Safety, she mentioned that a lot of the people who are residing in some of these places here in Diepsloot are renting, and they're renting possibly from those who have gotten RDP houses and have left this place and left it to be rented out by various people. There's also been a call for those who are renting out their premises not to rent out their homes to undocumented migrants. These were some of the things that came out from a report back by the Minister of Police earlier on today and conversations that we had with MEC for Community Safety. It's back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much, Mbalenthle Mthethwa, on the ground in Diepsloot in northern Johannesburg. And of course, we'll watch the situation there.